Great. Okay, well, everyone, welcome to the 2022 Komatsu Summer School Seminar Leader Informational Session. We're so excited to see you all here. This is kind of the first recruitment event that we're hosting, so it's so nice to see you all and start this process, and hopefully we'll be able to guide you through just the process, what KSS is in general, and at the end we'll take any questions that you all have, and yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Our agenda for today is kind of as follows. We're all going to introduce ourselves. We're all part of seminar team. And then we'll kind of give an overview of KSS, what the application is like, which I'm sure you all have already looked at, but we'll just go over that again. We'll kind of go into the roles and responsibilities of what an SL does in KSS. And we'll cover a couple of frequently asked questions that I've already been getting via email, and then we'll open it up for a Q&A. Okay, yeah, so without further ado, I guess I should introduce myself. I'll go ahead and admit this person. So my name is Sage. I'm a junior at Indiana University, and as you can see from the picture, I'm actually a classical pianist, so that's what I study down at IU. But I'm also a pre-med student getting a degree in molecular life sciences, as well as a degree in Japanese language and culture. So I was an SL for KSS 2021, which was online, and I taught a course on musical biology. So basically it was exploring kind of just a broad topic of, different intersections between music and science. We covered a little bit of zoomusicology, some music therapy, all kinds of stuff. It was a great experience, obviously, because I'm still here working this year, and I serve as the deputy director. It's like the fukubumoncho of human resources. And as part of that, I'm kind of the leader for seminar division, but I mean, we all kind of share the role of leading and helping you all out with seminar recruitment, seminar leader recruitment, and seminar crafting, all that stuff. And a fun fact about me, as you might know if you know about Indiana, it's pretty rural, and I grew up on a farm, and we still raise some goats, cows, and chickens. And I think, let's see, Crystal is next.
All right. Hi, I'm Krista. So I'm currently a fourth-year student at UCSB. I'm going to be going to grad school in 2022. Let's see, majors, I guess. I'm a linguistics major doing specifically language, culture, and society and doubling in Japanese, and then also a translation studies minor. And so I was also a SL leader or seminar leader with Sage in 2021. My seminar was on language, gender, and sexuality. And so this year I'm serving as the committee officer alongside with Sage and Grace, who I think Grace's introductions after. And I guess fun fact is I'm part of the climbing team. I like bouldering, super fun. Yeah, Grace, take it.
Yeah, hi everybody, I'm Grace. I'm currently a senior at New York University and my major is media culture communication. I have two minors, cinema studies and Japanese. So I was an SL, a seminar leader for KSS 2021 last year for comparative directors Disney versus Miyazaki. And I'm currently serving as seminar division committee officer. And I guess fun fact, I've been getting into crocheting and amigurumi these days. I actually finished this ballerina cat this morning. Yeah, I need to finish the details, but yeah, I guess that's just one fun fact about me. Nice to see you all.
Great, yeah, they're so amazing. Yeah, I see Grace. It's like she's done all kinds of stuff. I'm just so jealous. Like I'm not at all artistically talented, so I'm just very jealous. But yeah, anytime that you two want to jump in with anything on these slides, just feel free. So I thought we'd start off with just a little introduction. I'm sure you all have perused the website a little bit, but we're going to be looking about just what is KSS? So it is just a 1 week long summer program. This is for Japanese high schoolers, and it's mostly focused on liberal arts. So it's a bilingual summer school. So they come in. There's various different English levels. Some are very fluent in Japanese. Others are in English. Others are just a little bit. They're just kind of beginning. So there's a whole wide range of high schoolers here. And what's unique about KSS is it's completely volunteer-led by a college student staff. So everyone that you'll be interacting with in KSS is a volunteer college student. So obviously it must have some appeal because we're all devoting our time here for free. But I think you'll see there is something special about KSS that makes us happy to work for this amazing summer school. So this is kind of just stolen from the website, but it's basically KSS hopes to provide high schoolers with the opportunity to break out of their comfort zone. A lot of times in their own classes, they don't have this kind of discussion-based liberal arts style class. And as seminar leaders, you will be in charge of kind of crafting that and giving them that experience. So they'll each take 2 seminars. So as a part of that, you'll basically be teaching 2 classes, and each one will have 3 to 4 students in it. There's also some other programs that happen outside of seminars. So there's some forums and some programs that we'll get into later. But overall, KSS is just wonderful for connecting these high schoolers with all sorts of new experiences. This is sort of the structure of KSS as a whole. You'll see that where SLs fit in is under the Human Resources Division. So this is kind of like the breakdown of how it's organized. We have, some public relations officers. There's a separate program for high schoolers, programming, general affairs, but under Human Resources, SLs and as well as the seminar supporters and everyone else are kind of put together under this Human Resources Division. It's kind of broken up into the College Student Division, which are the Japanese university students, and then the Seminar Division, which are our international SLs and our committee officers and myself. So that's sort of how we break it up, and the way that kind of you'll be interacting is, of course, with Grace, Crystal, and I, but also our head, Mao Mikami. Which she's a great boss, and then we also have a wonderful chair and vice chair. So with this, the seminar leader application timeline, I'm sure you've all have seen the application already, but we have this kind of it's a little bit flexible, but our deadline is February 4th. We are encouraging everyone to get in their applications by January 28th, however, because we've already started to receive applications, and interviews are given out on a rolling basis. So we will continue to look at applications until the very end, but in order to kind of give you a better chance at getting into the interview stage of things, we do suggest that you get your application in as early as possible. However, we know, we're all college students. We know how things can get busy and, life is crazy. So if you have any issues with those deadlines, just email us. We'll be flexible. We wanna make sure this is as the least stressful experience that we can give. And interviews, they're going to be taking place starting around January 31st and continuing up through the 28th. So you'll see if you wait until February 4th, you have less time to get your interview in. It will take us a little bit of time to go through everyone's applications. So the sooner you get your application in, the sooner we can let you know whether or not you made it to the interview round. So, you're welcome to send us an email. We'll be trying to get through those as fast as possible. And we're hoping, with fingers crossed, if everything goes well, that we'll be able to give a final decision by March 15th. So those are the kind of dates that you could be looking for. The written application, which is the first thing that's due. So what are we looking for? I'm sure you all have seen the questions, but you can probably kind of guess and grasp the qualities that we're looking for, but we really want someone who first off understands what KSS is, what we're looking for like your role in KSS, and part of that is a strong liberal arts understanding. You don't have to have a liberal arts major. I don't, I'm a pianist and a science major, but I think, especially in university nowadays, we all are kind of getting more and more of that liberal arts experience, and that's that kind of opportunity that we want to give to the students. You don't have to have teaching experience, although that is nice, but as long as you have that kind of passion and interest in doing that, that's great. Another key feature that we really look at is your seminar ideas. We really want to see something that's interesting, that reflects what you like as a person, and something that these high schoolers most likely won't be able to study at their own high schools. If you look at our website, and even just our 3 seminars that we each taught last year, you'll see that there's a very wide variety of topics, and that's part of what makes KSS so great. So be sure to try to think of a seminar idea that you're really passionate about and something that you think is unique and gives you a chance to bring your own personal voice into the conversation. Obviously, since you're a leader, we want you to be interested in mentorship. Uh, SLs are not only, you know, teachers. We don't like to think of them as that, like you're lecturing at the students. We're really like working along with them to solve these problems and discuss these issues. And part of that, you need to be interested in that type of mentorship, active mentorship. And outside of seminars, SLs do have a role in helping high schoolers interact with each other. So that's another point that we're looking for. And lastly, we want to see a passion for these cross-cultural interactions. A lot of these high schoolers have this kind of global interest. A lot of them are interested in studying abroad, and they'll be asking a lot of questions about that. So just being aware of those issues, which I think as Japanese language, like, you know, foreign language learners, we're all probably familiar with that, but that's just something to keep in mind. So the interview. So the format of this, it's kind of daunting, you know, to think about, you know, an interview that could be bilingual, but I promise it's not too scary. There will be 2 or 3 of us at the very least who will be interviewing you all at the same time. There's not like some like you're passed off to the next person. We all get to see your interview, and there is an English and a Japanese section. They're going to be very separate, and we'll be clear about when one ends and the other starts. But really, this is our chance to see the real you, something that we couldn't see on the application. So I put together a few tips. You know, I'm sure we all have our own approach to interviews and how we go about them. But I just wanted to kind of give the rundown of what we're looking for. So first off, don't worry about being formal in your speech, in your attire. You don't have to show up in a full suit. We're not looking for that. You know, don't you know, I try to make things look a little bit professional, but, you know, we're not really looking for that. And just don't worry about being, you know, you know, we don't want you to come across as uptight or anything like that too. So we just try to think of this as a conversation between us all. In the Japanese section, this is what I get a lot of questions about. We really aren't grading you on like correctness or how much vocab or grammar that you know. What we're really looking for is just an a desire to just keep talking and get your point across. It doesn't really matter how you do that as long as you try. So don't worry about making any mistakes. Just keep talking. And if you don't understand the question, you're more than welcome to let us know and talk about something that you do want to talk about. You know, we just want to see how you get around using your Japanese. And I'll talk a little bit more about why we're including that in a later part of this presentation. Also, explore our website. That's a good idea because, you know, you'll kind of get a vibe of what we're about, and I think that does pay off in an interview. And if you can, prepare a couple of questions for us in our interview because, you know, we might see if you have any questions for us, and I think that's always a good interview practice. Crystal or Grace, do you have anything to add to that?
I would have to say, like, just keep talking is like a good tip because you know, sometimes you have to be flexible with things. Yeah, for me as well, like I honestly had like a really like a troubling moment during my interview, but I kept talking and I just wanted to show that like I really want this position. So if that goes through, then I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a chance. So don't be afraid. Just go for it. Just show us like whatever you got for your Japanese portion. That'll be great.
Yeah, I mean, I felt I was pretty chill at the interview. I didn't really have an issue, but definitely think about like issues that might come up if when you're teaching, maybe strategies that you would use to handle them. Just like thinking about it doesn't you don't have to have any experience, but like how would you handle like different situations? The Japanese portion, I know we're changing the format, but when I did it, I found it was okay. And I also kind of cheated and just read the slide because I was like, was I supposed to read the slide? Because the answers are on the slide. We're not using a slide this year, right?
No, it's going to be more like a conversation. So yeah.
Yeah, so like honestly, just like think of it as having a conversation in Japanese. Like you don't have to know everything. Like if you're having like I have conversations with friends in Japanese, and like even though we've known each other for like what, like 2-3 years, I'm still like, hey, what does that mean? Or like, oh wait, can you like rephrase that? And like that's totally fine. You don't have to know everything. And the point is to see that like you're willing to try and communicate, especially with like a lot of these Japanese students who like some of them are not that are still learning, and they're struggling with like communication, and like you don't want them to have the communicative burden. Like you should be the one that's trying to bear that burden and communicating with your students. Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, I think those are great tips. And just to reiterate in the Japanese, it doesn't really matter how you talk to us. You know, you don't have to worry about using like a real like mensetsu tango or anything like that. Um, you can use casual. You can use desimasu. It doesn't really matter for that. Just keep talking. Also, I would recommend thinking a little bit more after your application about your seminar topics, because that's probably something that we will be asking about, why you chose that topic and what you know about it, those sort of things. So that's just something to keep in mind. Great. Okay, so now we come to the meat of the presentation. So what do seminar leaders do at KSS? So as the name suggests, seminars are our kind of main role. They're one of the highlights of Komatsu Summer School. So you all are the superstars of KSS in part. I think a lot of the students really did enjoy the seminars quite a bit. So it's a really rewarding role at KSS, and it's got a lot for both parties to learn, I think. So you're going to create a round of 5 lessons of around an hour long. So it's basically 5 class sessions for students around 6. So you're going to be teaching the same class twice in a day, basically, to 3 different students. This is your chance to create your own course from scratch. I like to think of this as sort of like the honors courses that your college might offer. They can be on all sorts of different topics. Just pick something that you're interested in. You don't have to, be majoring in that topic, obviously. It can be something that you're experienced with in your extracurriculars, something that you've always wanted to teach about, and you're just, you've read a lot about it, something like that. And feel free to mix and match. I think a big part of liberal arts is this kind of interdisciplinary approach, looking at things through multiple lenses. So that really means there is no right answer for the right type of seminar. And students are matched to seminars based on their own interest forms. So a good portion of the time, these students are really excited to learn about your topic. So that's something to look forward to. This is my own presentation. You can see I'm obviously passionate about whatever I'm talking about right here. This was on my zoomusicology day. I'm talking about basically music and nature and kind of the relationship between those. And of course, it was on Zoom. So this was the kind of format that we were on. But even though we were all kind of on the screen, we had some great conversations. And it really, like, by the end of the week, my students gave their own presentation on a topic of their choice, and it was just a really rewarding experience. I thought we really, connected, and also, this is my seminar supporter right here. He's a wonderful guy. You're kind of paired with an SS seminar supporter who will help craft your seminar and co-teach it alongside you. So that's another thing to look forward to. So the seminar prep period. So after you're admitted as an SL, basically as soon as you're admitted, that's kind of when it starts. I like to think of it, I think Grace put it, it starts when you submit your application, because you've already been thinking about your seminar since then. So you're going to be matched with an SS member, and you're going to start to research your topic. We're going to offer these kind of suggested deadlines to help you craft your seminar. You're not going to be thrown out all on your own, although you're welcome to take as much freedom as you want with this. We're not here to like give you deadlines for like, oh, we need this by this, and you got to run through this with us and all this stuff. We're here to help you in any way that we can. And of course, if finals or exams comes up, some weeks are going to be busier than others. So we're very flexible with that. But you're going to create your own syllabus and lesson plans with your seminar supporter. And go through, you're going to have a few months to create that seminar. That is your main role during the prep period, outside of just, attending meetings, general KSS meetings and everything. That's going to be your focus. Each of the college students kind of takes a different role. Some are creating programs, while SLs are, of course, creating their seminars. So what else do seminar leaders do? We're also each assigned to a house. So these houses are kind of like, in terms of a camp group, it's 3 or 4 more high schoolers that you interact with outside of your seminar, and we're all posing here. This was kind of our end of camp picture time, so we all put on some Zoom filters and brought up our favorite stuffed animals and everything. So it's another time to interact with these high schoolers. We kind of do a lot of reflections, talking about how camp is going, how their seminars are going. It's one of my favorite times was, at the end of the day, just talking with my members of the members of my house, and you'll see that there are like 3 or 4 other college students that are in this house. So you also get to know some other college students, which is a good highlight. I don't know. Do you, Grace or Crystal, do you remember some highlights from your time in houses?
Crystal, you
Uh,
can, yeah.
Okay, I would say the time we were forced to sing that KSS
Oh
theme
my,
song that
yes.
nobody could sing.
Yeah, so the backstory, you want to give the backstory to that?
Oh my God. Yeah, so basically we have like a KSS theme song that one of the college students composed, but it had incredibly high notes that I could not sing. And we were all given a part to sing as a house that they would piece together as a video. And so like we met, and then we had to sing that part, but like very off tune for me at least.
Yeah, it was rough. My voice does not go that high. My seminar supporter was actually the guy who composed the song, and he's real big into karaoke, and he plays like every instrument, and we're like, Solgo, why did you do that to us? But it was still fun, although syncing it with Zoom was a little bit interesting. Yeah. Okay, so the last thing that I have for what seminar leaders do, we also are involved in all the programs that happen. So seminars are kind of in the morning, and then we have some programs that happen in the afternoon. And all these programs are open for SL involvement, and we're encouraged to join those. And our job there is basically to help encourage these high schoolers to participate and have fun in these programs. Um, because each of the seminar leaders will have around you have 6 students that you're interacting with in your seminars, and then 3 or 4 more in your house. So there's like around 10 students that and you can help call on, or encourage to participate in these activities. And I think it was especially useful in the online format, because we all know that Zoom isn't the best way to encourage participation, but I think SLs really did have a big role in helping that. And I also learned a lot personally from these programs. We had some forums where like working professionals would come in from a variety of fields and talk about their own lives. We had some sustainable development goal workshops. That was kind of the theme for last year. So we worked on that. We had this kind of dream board where we all worked on our goals, like our kind of short-term goals for the week, and also our kind of longer-term goals for life. It was just a really great experience overall, and I highly encourage anyone who's an SL to attend as many programs as you can as well. Okay, so why be an SL? This is kind of, I didn't want to put anything uh, in writing down, but I just thought we would kind of talk about our own experience of being an SL last year, and why we're still working for KSS this year. Does anyone want to start? I can I can also start, but
Maybe I could
go
just start.
for it.
Yeah. So I personally really enjoyed being an SL because well, it was a fantastic opportunity for me to participate in KSS in general, because it was a chance for me to be part of a collective effort to make something positive to the high schoolers. And I would have to say, like, the biggest takeaway from KSS is that I kind of found the capability to like make connections, or demonstrate mentorship, and use what little I know from uni, and just expand the knowledge to help others. especially that of people of different language and cultural contexts. So I really, really valued that. And to be honest, like my Japanese skill just like kind of remained in like a classroom setting, but this opportunity was like a chance for me to kind of verify that my Japanese kind of works beyond that classroom setting. So that it was really fantastic to kind of realize that. Yeah, so I really wanted to continue this after 2021 because like I could only say that like 1 week just was not enough. So I still wanted to contribute as further as long as I could. So yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. I have to agree with everything that Grace said there. It really was amazing. Not to be sappy, but you know how summer camps can kind of be sappy. Um, it really, even though, we're all separated by a screen, by, time differences, I was still in Indiana while this was going on, so I turned into a nocturnal animal during this. I was up at like, I think I'd get up at like 5 p.m. and stay up until like 8 a.m. Just kind of like all the way around, just reversed. But it really was just amazing to see that, we built these bonds over this, great distance that kind of have survived so far. And, I still am in contact with, the college students and high school students that we worked with. It was just such a rewarding experience to see how much we all grew in that short week. It was just amazing. Yeah. Crystal, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, basically just echoing Sage and Grace. Like I joined because I really enjoy teaching. I'm going in academia, so I kind of have to love teaching. um, and so that was like really fun, like being able to put together my own course and then teaching as a high school student because it's not something that even high school students here, I think, really get that experience and really having more critical discussions with, like, say, my topic with gender sexuality, how does that relate to language specifically? And so like I was working while doing this program, so I did miss a lot of the programming. And so like I, thought this was a really great program, wanted to contribute more, even though I'm still busy and like Sage is doing a lot of the work too, and Grace. And I kind of just like and have been hanging out and doing like just the minimal. But I still wanted to contribute in some way, and so I decided to stick on for another round of KSS.
No, Crystal's been great. She's great.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great. So, yeah, I think moving forward. Oh no, my computer froze. I'm just gonna address a few frequently asked questions that I got, and kind of anything else that you all have. We'll have an opening for a Q&A afterwards. But so these are some of the emails that I've gotten so far. So what if I'm graduating this year? That doesn't matter. You're good as long as you're enrolled in an institution at time of application. You're good to participate in KSS. You don't have to be enrolled in a university at the time, like during the summer. Is KSS a paid opportunity? So it isn't. I already mentioned that we're all working on a volunteer basis. Even our chairs and everyone, we're all just doing this because we want to. That being said, if we don't have the yay or nay whether or not KSS is in person yet, but if it is, we do offer some travel support. It's around like $100 for like travel in Japan to get you to Komatsu. However, any like air ride plane fare is going to be on the on each SL to get there. I know my own university offers kind of scholarship programs for these internships or study abroads that I encourage you all to explore if that's an avenue that ends up being a possibility. How many hours will I be spending per week on KSS? This really depends on how proactive you are at the start. I know I'm a procrastinator, so I kind of, you know, I like to save my work towards the end of things. Obviously, if you do that, you're going to be spending a bit more time right before. I will say, so during the prep period, there are sometimes, busier times and sometimes not. We'll kind of give you a schedule in advance, like when we'd like to see what done. Um, we hold meetings probably once or twice a month as a whole organization that, there'll be an hour long or so that you'd be expected to participate in. And on the weeks that we don't have it, we'll probably be doing check-ins with you all. Um, so it it'll be a couple hours a week, I would say, if you do that consistently. And of course, during KSS, like during that week and the couple days before, it is going to be a bit more crunch time, obviously, because you're going to be teaching for a couple hours, you're going to be participating in programs and everything. And if that's online and you're trying to balance other things like Crystal did last summer, you're probably going to be having to spend more time in the middle of things, but you'll see that there is some flexibility built into KSS. So if you need to change anything or do any last minute slide preps, there will be time for that. Who are my main contact persons? So if you have any questions before like becoming an SL joining KSS, I encourage you to just email the komatsu.seminars@gmail.com address. That will be like your main point of contact. Um, and obviously, if it isn't a question appropriate for the seminar team, we will forward that along to someone else in KSS. But we should be able to manage any questions before that. Once you're in KSS as an SL, you'll still be mainly working with us three and our HR boss, like HR department head. That will be kind of your main contact. And although you'll see that our chair and vice chair, it's not like some like elevated position where they're like way ahead. They're always coming in and saying hi and stuff. So there won't be like you can only talk to us about some things, but we'll certainly be there for any questions that you have about seminars. And lastly, about your Japanese level. So we have it listed that it's strongly recommended that you be an intermediate Japanese speaker, whatever that means. So the reason we have that in place is because a lot of the programs will be in Japanese. Your seminar will be taught in English, although knowing some vocab to kind of translate on the spot would be nice. That isn't really the focus of like where you'd be using Japanese. It's really going to be in the programs and also in your houses. So the reason we recommend an intermediate level is because if you're more comfortable with Japanese, that will be an asset. However, I guarantee most of you are probably better at Japanese than I am.
Or me.
So it's not really like we're going to be like testing you and giving you like a JLPT to see if you can be in KSS. That's not really like a cutoff for us. We're not using that to select people. It's really more of just a recommendation. We're like, are you willing to be put in those situations where you might not understand like 80% of what's going on? Is that okay with you? And how are you going to tackle like anytime that you don't understand something? That's more of the question that you need to ask yourself. But obviously, if you have any specific questions or concerns about that, just email us and we'd be more than happy to talk to you about it. Although really, if you're asking about it, that shows that you already have the like forward thinking in order to kind of tackle that issue, so you'd probably be okay. But with that, I think that's all I wanted to cover for this. Thank you all for listening, and if you're listening to this on YouTube in the future, this is where it ends. We will be stopping here. We won't be recording Q&A, but you all are welcome to email us here at this email address if you have any questions. Other than that, thank you so much.